Breaking news: Government attack prison facility, free 7 inmates, by or unalive cop in Imo State. Good morning, good afternoon, wonderful people, lots of freedoms all over the world. Wherever you're joining us from today, you're highly welcome to this wonderful YouTube channel. This is your wonderful channel that gives you all updated news and information on everything trending and happening in Biafran territory. Please make sure you share this video to as many groups and platforms to as possible. Let us give you the news in details. A daring attack on a prison in Imo State has resulted in the escape of 7 inmates and the unaliving of a police officer. The incident has raised concerns over the security situation in the state and the vulnerability of correctional facilities. According to reports, the gunmen, who were heavily armed, stormed the prison in the early hours of the morning. They overpowered the security personnel on duty, shooting and unaliving a police officer. The attackers then broke into the cells, freeing 7 inmates. The Imo State Police Command has launched an investigation into the incident, with the Commissioner of Police assuring the public that the command is doing its best to recapture the escaped inmates and bring the perpetrators to justice. The community is in shock, with many residents expressing outrage and concern over the incident. The attack has raised questions about the security of correctional facilities and the ability of authorities to protect lives and properties. The incident has significant security implications for the state, highlighting the need for increased vigilance and security measures to prevent similar attacks in the future. The authorities must take steps to strengthen the security of correctional facilities and prevent the escape of inmates. The government has a critical role to play in addressing the security concerns in the state. Before I even go on, which government are we even talking about? Which government are we talking about? Is it the government that has failed to protect the people, or the same government that is unaliving, innocent people in Biafran land and other parts of neighboring, states, in other part of the zoo? Look at what happened in Benue State. The truth has started coming out. The truth continue to point to these so-called politicians and governors, and also government generally. They are the ones who are responsible for this high level of insecurity ravaging every part of the land. When we keep on saying that Fulani herdsmen are working for the government, it's as if we are accusing the government. But the reality is that these are, group of, headers who are working for the government to cause insecurity in the land. And the annoying part of this whole thing is when they finish, buying innocent people and causing insecurity, they blame it on the Biafran struggle, just to continue to find a way to demonize the struggle. But before we even go further, I'll be dropping a very important news immediately after this news, so stay tuned, because something has really happened. The Biafran Defense Force, the Biafran Liberation Army, has given a very critical message, to the Finnish authority. You'll be shocked with what they said, and also they went further to expose atrocious things, that the zoo government are doing, and the reason why they need to free Mazi Simon Ekpa as quickly as possible, because he is the only person who can actually, protect and save the lives of innocent Biafrans who are being died on daily basis in Biafran land. The reality is that they are not ready, to stop. That is why their major target was to take Mazi Simon Ekpa out, because he was really dealing with them. Why do you think that back to back Musa kept on crying, Musa kept on complaining, and Musa kept on speaking? Because he knew what Mazi Simon Ekpa stood for. He wasn't ready to give in to this their trash that is happening in Benue State. Let me tell you, their major target, initially is to turn Biafra, to be as worse as what is even happening in Benue State. But no, it cannot work, because Biafrans are people who have been protected by Chukwukike Abiyama. That is why he gave us, wise men like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and strong men and powerful men like Mazi Simon Ekpa. Imagine the combination of wisdom and strength. That is what we have in Biafran land. And when these two finally comes out as quickly as possible, it will be game over, checkmate for the Zoo government. Let us round up with this particular news before we go into the critical message that the Biafran Liberation Army sent to the Finnish government. The authorities must work to identify the perpetrators of the attack and bring them to justice, while also taking steps to prevent similar incidents in the future. The attack on the prison in Imo State is a serious incident that highlights the security concerns in the state. Now, I was listening to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's court trial today, and while I was giving information and giving news on how the court trial went, I noticed something very, very critical, and that was, when I found out that the Zoo government blamed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for the prison break that happened sometime, very long time ago in Imo State. There was one that was critical, that happened in Imo State, where so many prisoners actually escaped. They blamed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for that. Now, since the arrest, or the abduction rather, I beg your pardon, since the abduction of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, we've actually seen even worse incidents of prison break happening. Who in Imo State, in that same Imo State that they accused Nnamdi Kanu of, committing that prison break. Now, the big question is, who are the ones responsible for all this prison break that we continue to see in Imo State? That is the first question. Now, back to the second question that I have. In all this issue of insecurity this, insecurity that, herdsmen attacking, major parts of Imo State and Enugu State, have you heard any governor of the Zoo in Biafran land? For example, have you heard Mba and Hope Uzodinma come out to talk about the buyings of, or the unaliving, or the genocidal attack, by these herdsmen? No, you won't. But these people are always quick to condemn Eastern Security Network and the Biafran Liberation Army for defending their people. For defending their people. And it is painful that even our people, Biafrans, are even contributing to the calamity that is befalling them. Because you have Biafran Defense Forces, you have Biafran Liberation Army, you have the Eastern Security Network, who have been doing the needful by defending you. But you continue to blackmail them. Especially, we've seen what is happening in the Ihamufu, community, to the extent that these people started blackmailing the Eastern Security Network. But that is not the talk I want to talk about. It is high time that Biafrans should understand that the Biafran Defense Forces and the Eastern Security Network are the only people that can actually defend them with their last blood, because it is their land and they are fighting for Biafran freedom. Now, on other news, let us go into the full details and the news of the information or the message, the critical message that the Biafran Liberation Army, the Biafran Defense Force, sent to Finland, concerning all the activities happening in Biafran land, and went further to expose the Zoo government on the genocidal attack happening in Biafran land. Please enjoy and make sure you share.
Breaking news. Biafra Liberation Army sends strong message to Finnish authorities, exposes Nigerian plan in Imo State. Hear the news in details. Wonderful people of Biafra, lovers of freedom all over the world, you are welcome once again to Biafra Unite channel /television this very moment. Today's date is 12th of June 2025, and I have some video clips and important information for every one of you listening to my voice right now from wherever you are all over the world. Biafrans and lovers of freedom, I want you to pay very good attention to this very news, because it's very, very important. I can assure you, my people, the Biafra Liberation Army, BLA, has actually sent a message to Finnish authority, but this very message is coming because of the evil plans of the Zoo Janjaweed Nigerian government in Imo State in conjunction with Hope Uzodimma. So I'm going to analyze it, of course, but there's another information which I'm going to show you after this very video. I would want you to pay attention. That very information is what we're going to use to connect the dot with what the Biafra Liberation Army is going to say in this very video. So, but this very message, this very broadcast is strictly directed to Finnish authority. I want them to watch this very broadcast from beginning till the very end of it, that they may understand what is going on. Now, before we begin to play the video, let me introduce the man on the screen. He is a personnel of Biafra Liberation Army, known as Àřmý. He is also the spokesperson of Biafra Liberation Army. Every news or information that we want to hear from Biafra Liberation Army always comes from his mouth. And once he speaks, it is authentic. We don't argue it because we know who he is. So this introduction of Àřmý is for Finnish authorities, that they may know who is about to speak. And after his own speech, then I will show them another vital information which is going on now, happening in Imo State, the same place where Nigeria government has already mapped out for destruction. So let us first of all watch the video and listen to him. Don't go nowhere, because we still have more in the kitchen.
Greetings, consensus peoples of the world. My fellow Biafrans, I am here with a current information of what is going on in the land of Biafra, especially in old Imo State. As our able leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is strongly defeating the Nigerian terrorist government in their own courts, in their own law courts. And in the same way that Mazi Simeon Ekpa, the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic government in exile, are also defeating the Nigerian prosecutors in Finland. So during all this victory on the side of Biafrans, the Nigerian federal government summoned the Southeast governors and some of their political leaders and they are currently in a meeting with Nigerian Air Force, and what they are discussing, bargaining there currently now is that on how they want to use Tucano jets, applying of Tucano jets, mixer. Because what is their problem? They have come in conclusion that the men of Biafra Liberation Army, the men of Biafra Defense Forces are dealing with them, destroying them on the ground. So now they want to apply on air. They want to come war, bring war, another war against the Okigwe people through air. And this information revealed that by next week, a week from now, they will begin to the bombardments. So that's why I want to use this opportunity to bring to the notice of the international communities, international leaders, bring to the notice of Finnish government, bring to the notice of Lati in Finland to understand that is a currently war that is going on between the Biafra Liberation Army and the Nigerian army, currently going on, and now they want to use Tucano fighter jets to come and destroy people's homes, to come and bombard communities, to come and destroy lives and properties. So I want the international and the local communities to understand what is currently going on in the land of Biafra, especially in Okigwe State. And I want to use this opportunity to call up the sons and the daughters of Okigwe to rise up to hope for them. It is time for the leaders of Okigwe, for the people of Okigwe to rise up against this Fulani terrorist Islamization agenda of Hope for them in Imo State, in old Imo State. So this information is what I want to pass to Biafrans so that you will understand what is currently going on. Please, if you are living in the Okigwe axis, I want you to be careful, to be security conscious for now, especially Isi Alambano, Ehimembano, Isiweke, Obo, Onimo, and the Okigwe. These areas has been mapped out for bombardment by Hope Sodema and the Nigerian Air Force. So be security conscious and guard your environment. Report to the Biafra Liberation Army channel any criminality, any criminal movement of Fulanis or Nigerian Army. Just give us the report immediately.
Now, as we all have watched and see the video and listened to what the spokesperson of Biafra Liberation Army has to tell the whole world, especially the Finnish authority that is currently holding, the Prime Minister of Biafra in their custody. I want everybody to pay very close attention to this. This very broadcast, like as I said from beginning, is still going to Finnish authority. Now, I want Finland to understand this. According to the Biafra Liberation Army spokesperson, NJ Makeup, he strictly commented about the plans of the Nigerian government and the governor of Imo State in the person of Hope Uzodinma, their plans to bring in Super Tucano jet that they purchased in United States of America a couple of years ago against Boko Haram. They want to bring it now in Imo State in the east, where there is no terrorist or terrorism, in order to bombard the innocent people's homes in Imo State in the name of looking for Biafra Liberation Army. That is the current plan of Nigeria government in conjunction with Imo State government led by Hope Uzodinma. Now, Finland authorities, I want you to understand that in the same Imo State, where Nigerian government led by Tinubu and Fulani oligarchy, and the Imo State governor led by Hope Uzodinma, in the same Imo State, where they are planning to bring Super Tucano jet to bombard. This is the current news, the current information that is going on in the same Imo State. According to this news, Finnish authority, there is a news platform in Nigeria known as Sahara Reporters. If you want to read it your own, just write this headline on your Google, you will get this news. And the headline says, breaking, armed herdsmen attack Imo State communities, unalive several residents, injured pregnant woman. Unalive several residents, many residents were unalived, and many communities were attacked. And who are these herdsmen? They said here, armed herdsmen. The only people that are called herdsmen in the entire Nigeria are the Fulani people. They are known as pastoralists. They go about rearing cows, taking their cattle to all communities, feeding them with grasses and all that. But these same herdsmen are those that the Fulani Caliphate is now using to terrorize the innocent communities all over Nigeria. They have armed them with AK-47. They are currently armed to the teeth all over Nigeria, all over, including in the east here. So they have invaded a community in Imo State, attacked residents, civilians, innocent citizens, and unalive many of them, which is currently being reported by a Nigerian newspaper. Yet, look at the date here. I want Finnish authority to see. This is June 11, 2025. So it is not an old news. This is current news. Something that is going on now in Imo. So Nigeria government has neglected the attacks on the citizens, on the innocent citizens. They neglected it. They are not saying anything about it. They are not doing anything about it. They are not bringing the army to go after the Fulani herdsmen terrorists. And again, to remind the Finnish authority once again, that these same Fulani herdsmen terrorists are the fourth deadliest terrorist group in the world. If you go to World Terrorist Index, is there. After the Agatu massacre in Benue State, the World Terrorist Index announced the Fulani herdsmen as the fourth deadliest terrorist group in the world, in the whole world, after Agatu massacre. All these things I'm saying are on record. There where you are in Finland, if you check the Google, all the names that I'm mentioning, just type them in the Google, you will see everything from your own location. So I'm not making up any story here. Now, if you read further, among the victims is a pregnant woman, Joy Osita Achugo, which is the name of that pregnant woman, was shot by the herdsmen and is currently battling for survival in a hospital, Sahara Reporters has learned. So I want the Finnish authorities to understand what Simon Ekpa is fighting to stop. All these massacres in Biafra land is what Mazi Simon Ekpa and Joko is fighting to end. Fulani herdsmen terrorists, Boko Haram terrorists, Al-Qaeda in Maghreb, ISIS in West Africa, Lakurawa, Mahamuda. These are terror groups that Fulani oligarchy, Fulani are grouping in Nigeria simply because they want to take over the entire Nigeria and turn everybody, whether you like it or not, you must worship their religion. This is the main thing that is going on in Nigeria. And we from Biafra land, we from the east, we say we cannot allow Fulani from Sahel, from the north, to come down to the east and slaughter us and take over our land. That is why we are fighting to liberate ourselves from Nigeria. And this is why Mazi Simon Ekpa is standing firm to defend his people. He is not a criminal. He has never ever committed any crime, and a freedom fighter can never be a criminal. So I want Finnish authority to understand what the man you are holding is, trying to stop. And that's why Nigeria government, because Nigeria government is empowering these Fulani herdsmen terrorists to do their bidding, because those in control of Nigeria government are the masters of these Fulani herdsmen terrorists. The cattle they rear, the herds, are owned by the Fulani oligarchy, the Fulani top politicians who are in control of politics in Nigeria. They are the owners of those cows that these youths they are using to terrorize communities. They are the owners of those cows. So they are fully in support of what these Fulani terrorists are doing. That's why they will never allow the Nigerian army or police to go against them. Rather, they want to go against the Biafra Liberation Army, which is fighting to stop the incursion and the invasion of these Fulani herdsmen terrorists into the Biafra territory in the eastern part of Nigeria at the moment. I want Finnish authority to understand this. Now, if you read further, suspected armed herdsmen have attacked Agua and other communities in the Oguta local government area of Imo State, leaving several people dead and many others injured. Now, I also want to show Finnish authority one more news before the end of this very broadcast, because, like as I said from beginning, this very broadcast is strictly for Finnish authorities. And this is what is happening currently as I'm speaking now in our land. Now, let us see this one. You see, this is coming from another Nigerian news platform called Daily Post. If you put this name on the Google from your own end, you will see this very news. And their headline says, herdsmen murder 4 persons in Enugu community. Enugu community. Enugu state is another state in the eastern part of Nigeria, otherwise known as Biafra land. Enugu state, another state on its own. As I'm speaking to you now, the entire community have been thrown into mourning, because these same Fulani herdsmen terrorists, this is the picture. These are the pictures of Fulani herdsmen terrorists. These same Fulani herdsmen terrorists have invaded another state in this east, in the eastern Nigeria, and murdered people in cold blood, throwing their family members into mourning overnight, just all of a sudden. All of a sudden. So if you read further, they said 4 persons have been reportedly dead after an attack by gunmen suspected to be Fulani herdsmen. Fulani herdsmen, suspected to be Fulani herdsmen in Mbuji community, issues of local government area of Enugu state. Mbuji in Ehamufu is one of the communities in the area that have suffered series of attacks by herdsmen. Community sources disclosed that the victims were attacked on their farms. You see, people that went to their farmlands to cultivate in order to give food to the nation, in order to give food to the people, in order to give food to the entire community. Fulani herdsmen terrorists invaded them and massacred them in cold blood. And as I'm speaking now, the government of Enugu State, the governor himself, Peter Mba, has never issued any official statement concerning this, to condemn this. They have not sent security personnel to go and comb the bushes in order to get rid of the terrorists. They haven't done it. But they are busy sending, delegates, forwarding, the so-called evidences to Finnish authority in order to hold Mazi Nnamdi Kanu down. Because these very governors, are working for the Fulani oligarchy. Those who are sending their youth, their Fulani young boys, in the guise of herdsmen, giving them arms and ammunition to terrorize the entire Nigerian state. So they are the ones that made the eastern governors who they are today. They are the ones that made them governor. Like in Imo State, the man who won the governorship election was not the one that they gave it. In fact, was demoted, stripped off his, removed from the governorship position and gave it to a man who took 4th, because that one is the one that agreed to do their bidding. That's why Hope Uzodimma is the governor of Imo State today. So instead of Nigerian army and police, air force and navy, instead of them to go after the herdsmen terrorists, the Fulani herdsmen terrorists who are invading communities and unaliving people, massacring the innocent citizens and setting their homes ablaze, they left them. And now they are going after Biafra Liberation Army that is fighting to stop the Fulani incursion in our land, to stop the Fulani herdsmen terrorist invasion of Biafra land, the eastern Nigeria. This is where we are having problem. This is where we are having issues. So I want the Finnish authority to understand this. Please, this is the headline from this very news platform called Daily Post. Once you put this headline on your Google, you will get this news and read it in full details. Thank you, my people. Tosalo numozia and make it go viral.